I want you to just picture this for a moment. A residential street in Helwan, Egypt. You in the kind of place, it's got that constant city hum, cars, people shouting, just
Yeah.
life.
The everyday noise.
Exactly. But then on this one afternoon, that noise just stops. It's broken by a sound, not a gunshot, not a scream, it's a thud.
The kind of heavy final sound that makes your stomach drop before you even know what it is.
Right. The sound of a body hitting pavement from, what, 5 stories up?
Yeah. And of course, people run over. They see a man lying there, completely broken. This is Dr. Walaa Zayed. And the first sort of instinct is to look up.
You look up at the balcony, and you're expecting to see, I don't know, a monster, some kind of career criminal.
But that's the thing. That's not what you see. You see a family. You see a father-in-law, 2 brothers-in-law, men who an hour earlier were probably just, drinking tea.
Yeah.
Doctors,
What?
engineers.
And that single image, this so-called respectable family looking down at the body of their son-in-law, that's really the core of what we're going to break down today. Because this isn't a whodunit. We know who was there.
Oh, we know. The mystery is the how. And I don't mean how he fell. I mean, how does a man like Walaa Zayed, a successful pharmacist, a provider, end up tortured and dead in his own apartment at the hands of his in-laws?
It's a complete psychological deep dive. It's about a toxic marriage, sure, but it's also about societal pressure, about image, and the chilling idea that education has absolutely nothing to do with morality.
Like it all.
So let's start with Walaa himself, because if you were to sketch out a typical victim of this kind of violence, he doesn't fit the profile.
And not even a little bit. He was the opposite of unstable. He graduated from Tata University back in 2010, a pharmacist, making a great living in Saudi Arabia. He was, for all intents and purposes, the golden boy.
The kind of guy every parent wants for their daughter.
Exactly. Respected family from Manufia, good reputation, just a solid provider-type guy.
So, okay, let's go to 2013. He's in Saudi, he's building this career, and he meets a woman named Rima.
And on paper, this is a match made in heaven. It's almost too perfect.
How so?
Well, she's also a pharmacist. Her father, Dr. Hamdi, is a physician. They're all living as Egyptian expats in Saudi, so you've got the same profession, same social class. It just feels safe. It makes sense.
So he calls his family, tells them, I think I found her. They're ecstatic. But there's a decision made right at the very beginning, before they're even married, that you flagged as being kind of fatal?
It's the geography. It sounds so small, but it's everything. Walaa's family, his support system, is in Manufia. But he buys the marital apartment in Helwan.
Why?
Because that's where Rima's family lived. It was actually his own mother's advice, keep your wife close to her family, she'll be happier.
It's well-intentioned.
Completely. But what it did was isolate him. He voluntarily walked onto their home turf, into a place where he would always be the outsider.
And it soured fast, didn't it? We're talking about the first year being a complete nightmare for him.
Awful. He's confiding in his sister, telling her about this profound neglect, this coldness. He feels like he's just a bank account, an accessory in his own marriage.
But this is where that societal pressure kicks in, right? Because the advice he gets isn't leave.
No, of course not. The advice is be patient. It'll get better. This is just an adjustment. He's basically told to just suck it up, because that's what a good man, a good husband does.
And then their son, Yunes, is born. And that changes the calculation completely.
The child becomes the glue, or really the anchor. Walaa makes a decision. He thinks, okay, I don't need to be happy. I just need to be a father. I can do this for my son.
But he couldn't. Not forever. After a couple of years, he hits a wall.
He divorces her. He says, I'll give you full financial support for Yunes. I'll pay for everything, but I can't live like this. He tries to set a boundary.
Tries being the operative word.
Because the family pressure machine just roars to life. His own family, her family. Think of the boy. Don't destroy the home. What will people say?
And Rima herself, the notes say she didn't want him back out of love.
Not at all. The investigation showed it was about 2 things. Money, because he was doing really well, and pure possessiveness, a kind of toxic pride. She didn't want him, but she couldn't stand the idea of anyone else having him.
So, of course, the cycle repeats. They get back together, nothing changes, and he divorces her a second time.
And this time it seems final. The Eid, which is the Islamic waiting period after a divorce, it actually passes. The marriage is legally and religiously over.
They're done.
They're done. But she's manipulative. It's the Eid holiday, a time for family. She calls him up with this perfect excuse. I want to take Yunes to visit your parents.
It's a Trojan horse.
A complete Trojan horse. She gets herself back into his family's home, uses the grandson, And the pressure campaign on Walaa starts all over again.
And he caves again. But he
Uh,
tries to set terms this time.
He does. He agrees to what he calls a roommate marriage. He says, okay, we will remarry on paper for Yoon's sake, but we are just co-parents. We live in the same house. That's it. No relationship.
It's a desperate compromise.
It is. But then she changes the deal again. She decides she's staying in Egypt, tells him to go back to Saudi alone. It's a power play.
And he does. He goes back to Saudi. And this is where everything shifts. He gets into a horrific car accident.
Really bad. He's laid up in a hospital all alone, miles from anyone he knows.
Yeah.
And his wife, she does nothing.
No call, no visit.
Silence. Complete abandonment. And for Walaa, that's the final wake-up call. He's lying in that hospital bed, realizing he's completely, utterly alone.
The thought that you're sending money home to someone who wouldn't even call you when you're bleeding in a hospital.
That's the moment the fog lifts. He realizes staying for the child is just a slow death. So he calls his family in Manufi and he says, find me a wife, a real partner.
And just to be clear, he's not cheating. He's divorced from Rima in his mind and he's ready to move on.
Absolutely. He flies to Egypt. He officially marries a woman named Reem. It's all legal. His plan is to start a new life with her in Saudi.
But being the kind of guy he is, he feels he has to tell Rima in person.
Yeah, he wants to reassure her that, the support for Yoon's won't change. He goes to her and breaks the news. And her reaction isn't rage. It's not sadness.
It's cold. Transactional. She asks about school fees.
Ice cold. But underneath that, she's already plotting. So Walaa goes to that apartment in Helwan, back to enemy territory, to spend one last day with his son before his flight. He thinks he's just saying goodbye.
He has no idea he's walking into an ambush.
None at all.
So the morning of the crime, Walaa is in the apartment. There's a knock. Rima opens the door. She's not surprised at all.
She was expecting them. Because standing there is her father, Dr. Hamdi, her two brothers, Ali and Mohammed, a doctor and an engineer, and two of their friends who were also engineers.
This isn't a random group of thugs. This is an educated professional lynch mob.
That's exactly what it is. And Walaa sees them, and he knows instantly. He runs to a room, locks the door.
And he starts sending these frantic messages from his phone. We have them. He's texting his sister. He's texting the building's WhatsApp group. Thugs are in the house. Save me.
He's begging for help. And then, nothing. The messages just stopped. They'd broken down the door.
What they did to him in that room, it's just barbaric. They tie him up. They beat him. And the whole time, his little boy, Yoons, is forced to watch.
It's pure psychological warfare. And it was calculated. This wasn't just blind anger. They forced him to sign blank sales contracts, trust receipts. They were literally beating his assets out of him.
And then there's the phone call. Rima grabs his phone, dials his new wife, Reem.
And she holds the phone to his bruised face and forces him to say the words, to divorce this new woman. She's destroying his future right in front of him, burning every escape route.
It's unbelievably cruel. And then you find out Rima's mother called during the assault.
Yeah. She's on the phone with Rima and tells her, film it. Film him being beaten so we have it to humiliate him later.
That's not a crime of passion. That is premeditated, malicious evil.
It's a plan.
Meanwhile, the neighbors can hear all this, the screaming, the violence. They go to the door. They knock.
They try to intervene. And Dr. Hamdi, the father-in-law, he opens the door. And he uses his status as a weapon. He just stands there and says, it's a family matter. Go away.
He's the gatekeeper.
He is. And he's a doctor. He's an older man. So the neighbors, they hesitate. And in that one moment of hesitation, it's over.
A few moments later is when they hear the thud. Walaa is on the pavement.
And instantly, the family story is ready. They run down and tell everyone, he jumped. He was mentally unstable. It was suicide.
They were trying to create a new reality on the spot.
They were. They thought their professional status, their reputation, would protect them. But the forensics don't lie. The autopsy shows he was severely tortured before the fall. And the suicide story it makes no sense. The guy had a plane ticket in his wallet and a new bride waiting. He was escaping, not giving up.
And then came the one witness they couldn't control.
The little boy.
Yeah.
Yoons. Once the police got him away from the family, he told them everything. He said, I saw them hitting Baba. And then he pointed at one of the friends and said, you threw him.
Oh my God. A child identifying his father's killer.
It broke the entire case open. The court saw right through their respectable family act. The father and brothers got 15 years hard labor. The friends got 10.
It's justice, I guess, but it just leaves you with this awful feeling. Walaa wasn't killed by some random criminal. He was killed by people with degrees on their walls.
And that's the terrifying paradox, isn't it? We assume education equals empathy or rationality, but this just proves that a degree doesn't make you a good person. Greed, rage, pride. They don't care if you're a doctor or an engineer.
It also makes you question that phrase, it's a family matter. Those words were a death sentence for Walaa.
They were. It makes you wonder, when does our respect for privacy become a form of complicity? If those neighbors had just pushed past that old man at the door, would Walaa still be alive?
And that's the question I think we should end on. The next time you hear something through a wall and your first thought is, I should mind my own business, just remember the pharmacist of Hell 1. Because sometimes the most violent places are hidden behind the most respectable doors.
A chilling thought.
That's our deep dive for today. Thank you for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.